have a software, get one by the end of the day. Do not delay it till tomorrow. Don't spend a whole bunch of time doing research. Have one by the end of today, right? This is one of those things where you act first, ready, fire, aim, right? Don't delay on this thing. Get right on it. So I'm going to showcase a few. I've used a whole bunch over the years. I've referred so many people to different softwares that, like, for example, one of my favorite ones used to be Realty Juggler. They actually sent me 3 juggling balls just for referring as many people. And one of the things I loved about them was their simplicity. I'm not going to use them today in my in the ones that I demo. But I do like simplicity because it's one of the bigger complaints when I've referred out like Top Producer in the past. I loved Top Producer, but it's kind of complex. And the first one that we're going to see today is BoldTrail. It used to be called KV Core. Now it's BoldTrail. And the number one complaint against this, I'll be just right up front, is it is too complex. This is a very big software. It's an expensive software. It's one that we have provided to our agents for free. We may not always do that because when we met with them originally, they promised, sorry, I've got to adjust my screen a little bit so that I can actually see you guys and interact with you. Give me just a minute. Oops, that's not what I wanted. All right. Takes a little bit to run these things. So back to this one. Let's go over the different things that it does. Now, again, the challenge with this, the reason why a lot of agents aren't using it is because it is very complicated. It's got a lot of features in it. Is anybody using this currently? Have you tried it? What's been your experience? If you unmute yourself and share.
I tried, but it was too complex. It was kind of a waste of time to try to figure out for me.
Okay. All right. Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate that. And that's by no means trashing this software. It's a great software. It's just I found that if it's too complicated, we don't use it. And I learned that 10 or 15 years ago. I was referring Top Producer over and over and over, and I got that exact same response. And Top Producer is less complex than this. And agents would go back to pen and paper. Like they're storing all their details of stuff on a pen and paper because it was too complex to use. If you can't get in and use it every single day, then it's not great, right? The software that works best for you is the one that you use. But let's look at this and see how it checks our boxes, because it does check a lot of the boxes. The first one is relationships, right? We want to be able to build relationships. So when we go in here, and it is a little bit slow loading things. I have no idea who any of these things are. Private lead. It's not even letting me click on those. Let's click on this one. Have no idea what this is. I don't want to share any personal information. That's why I'm trying to pick some random thing. All right, so let's look at our ability to build a relationship with this software. First of all, I come in here, and this is the details that I have about the client. Now I can edit these things. So I've got the name, I've got a phone number, I can do a home address down here. And I mean, there's a few other things that I can do. Oh, over here I can edit their profile, so I can do contact options, right? I guess I could just scroll down through all of this. So I can get all their contact information, their title, their website, their company, their birthday. All of that's great, whether I have permission to contact. If I don't have permission to contact them, they probably should either be downgraded to an F in my database because they've requested that. If there's a relationship, like a spouse or something else like that, primary address, social media, lots of different links in here. Anyways, there's a lot of different things in here that I could use to build a relationship with this person, right? So a lot of information that I can gather there. And then when I come in and I have an interaction with them, then I can go over here and I can record the new call or add a note, or send a text, and it automatically keeps a record of everything that's happened down here, right? So not only can I track all of the information that I think is pertinent to this person, so that when I have a conversation with them, I can record that conversation or the note or the text that happened. The next time I reach out and contact them, I can look and find all of that information. I can build on it, and I can look at this at a glance and say, okay, I don't have a spouse's name or a significant other. I don't have a birthday. And so my goal of this conversation today is to build a better relationship. I'm going to do that one increment at a time. And today my goal is to find out when their birthday is. And I'm just going to tell them, my script for today's calls is, hey, I'm trying to be a better friend. I realize I don't even have your birthday. I'm trying to do a better job calling my friends for their birthdays, whatever it is, right? So I pull up my software. It's a guide for me of how can I build a better relationship. This software has those tools, right? So task plans. I can, there are ways to apply task plans. The last time that I looked at this, and it was a little bit ago, there were ways to do it. The software has changed some. I think it was under marketing. So this is where the complaint that it gets a little bit complicated. And I'm sorry, it's been a little while since I have. Sorry. These are just transactions that we've got. So they used to have a way that was a little bit simpler, and maybe some of you guys have been using it more than I have. They used to have a way that was a little bit more simple in applying a task plan to somebody. So it is something that it had. What I didn't like about it is I could apply the task plan, but it didn't show me what was upcoming. And so when I clicked on the person, it showed me maybe what was due or what was past due, but it didn't show me what was upcoming. I didn't like that feature about it, so I quit using it. As far as a lead gen funnel, this is great for lead gen. It's got a ton of tools for promoting listings, and a lot of that is extra things that you pay for when you do it, but it's got a ton of tools for lead gen. Got a chat question typed in here. Oh, Christina said that she had the same experience with it. Okay. As far as the CYA goes, again, if I click on these people, I can record all my conversations. It records notes, texts, emails. So it's great for the CYA part. As far as the focus goes, not so much. Like I open this up every morning and I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? I can look here at tasks and it says, okay, this person you need to call. There are some settings that I can do for this where I can say, I want you to identify 20 people a day for me to call. So I like that it can help me focus on those types of things. And again, it's picking people that have probably never had a contact. So I do like that aspect of it. Otherwise, it seems a little bit overwhelming besides that. So if I could filter through that with the tasks, then that helps me, right? So this is one of the first ones I wanted to show you. Let's look at another one. And again, we're providing this right now for free. We may not always do that again, because when we signed the contract with them, they said it would do, replace like 4 or 5 different software programs that we were using. It did not do any of those things. So we had to go back and incur all of those fees to get those other software programs back. So we were a little bit disappointed from a company level. Here's one that is very simple that some agents will use. This is your Pro Agent website. Now you get here by going to Elevate, and you go to websites on the main page, and you just go to your admin page. Okay, so this is your Pro Agent website. Obviously, very, very simple here. And you've got, I don't know who Pro Agent Kira is, so shouldn't be anything personal in here. But again, I can scroll down here really quickly, see some of the basic contact information here. I can add tasks, I can add a note, I can apply an activity plan. So as far as building relationships, it's not wonderful. Okay, I mean, I can edit the contact and have a few. I got the spouse's information here, some social networking links that I can do. So not incredibly powerful, but again, simple is maybe better, right? And so I can apply task plans to it. So there's activity plans down here, and I can build these out and I can apply it. So that part I like. That's the second ingredient. As far as lead gen funnel, any calls from signs, if you haven't gone out and made your own custom that have come in. Okay? And granted, they're not real fresh, so I'm not seeing a ton of these come in, but somebody's calling in off of these signs. So there's some potential lead generation for you. As far as the CYA goes, again, I'll go back to this one. And I've got notes, so I can go over here and I can add a note that I had this conversation with them at this point. I could use that later on to say, oh yes, we did have this conversation. It was on this day. I could do that. I think I can text message with this. I'm not set up for it, but I can send a text message through this software as well. And again, that's record that we had an interaction. And then the last one is, as far as the focus goes, I don't think this does a very good job of it. Again, I pull this up in the morning and I just have a big list of people. And
hey, Eric.
Yes, sir.
So on this one, I think if I remember correctly, you know, when I play with them, I sign myself up to see what they do. And this one, I think, was really good with like deadlines coming up. It would actually put it into my Google Calendar, throw a reminder at me, and it would, I think, also throw it at the client. I'll have to play with it again, but I think it was this one that did that. And that was really important for, like, oh, geez, we have a deadline tomorrow. And it reminded them as well as me.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. So that's a great service there.
It will actually send you an email for the entire week upcoming for the deadline or the appointment. It's like whatever you have for that entire week.
Okay.
And
so
then
you're going in and adding each of your deadlines, and it sends you a reminder from this.
There's actually a little highlight, deadline right there.
Okay.
Yep.
That's great. So every time you go under contract, you go in here, you add your deadlines, and it sends you a reminder. Yeah, I like that feature. That's a good one. Okay.
I have a question on this quick.
Yes.
Does this one, can you send like a group email to everyone, like a monthly newsletter or something? And if so, is there something that generates different topics in emails, or is that separate, or how does that work?
Most of these software programs, even like BoldTrail, you can do it, but the open rate on them is deplorable, right? So they are not built as mass email programs. Some of the mass email programs like MailChimp, if you're not familiar with that, it's just like it sounds, MailChimp, like the chimpanzee. Mass email software programs try, they're not great at it, but at least they try to accommodate the anti-spam laws and stuff, and because they're known to do that, they typically get past the filters. They're not all going to your spam filters, right? Because if somebody goes in and reports and says, hey, this is spam, I didn't sign up for this list, those sites will actually send you a warning, and then they'll cut you off. They're like, hey, you cannot use our software to spam, because if that's happening, then our software is no good to anybody, right? So a lot of these softwares that don't have those safeguards built into them, you know, you're very low open rate because everything's just going to spam from them. And that's a problem that we run into. So I would not typically pick a software like this to do mass emails, and I would never want a software to auto-generate like a newsletter for me, because the whole goal of the newsletter, if you were with me in that training, it's about 3 weeks ago, is again to build those relationships. And I have an opportunity to put in a personal article as well as a professional article, and that personal article is so important. So yes, ease of use is nice, but if it's not effective, it doesn't matter how efficient it is. I want effective be my primary goal. Let's see.
So you recommend something like MailChimp to do that?
Yeah, if I'm going to do a newsletter or something like that, I would use a software like MailChimp that is dedicated for mass emails, and they're very inexpensive. Let's see. Brady had a question. Brady, did we skip your question?
Yeah, but it's okay, because after you went on with the Pro Agent website, you kind of answered it. But I have been using the KV Core a little bit, and I've got a whole bunch of door hangers printed, and I've got my KV Core website QR code on that. So I guess I need to have a heads up if we ever decide to get rid of KV Core, maybe a couple weeks, because I'm putting like 1,000 at a time.
Oh no, we would give you plenty of heads up. Right now, we don't have any plans to cancel it. We have a contract with them that goes through next year. But like, for example, our contract was for 1,000 users, and I think we have 300 that use it. So it's just people aren't using it. Even though it's there, it's available, it's not costing them anything. They're not using it because it's too complicated. Christina had a question. Does this software, Pro Agent Websites, integrate with IDX so that people who end up here, can they create a home search? And you guys that use this regularly, so all of my listings show up here. Again, I haven't used this site a ton, but we do have some users on here. All of my listings are on here. I believe it is synced with IDX, and it's part of my actual website. So trying to, since I don't use this as a primary website, I'm wondering if I can even click on a link to see what the site looks like from here. But yeah, it does integrate with IDX.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, it's been a while.
Gosh, no worries.
So
thank you.
But yeah, it's actually built as a website. That's what its purpose is.
Thank you.
All right, so I'll go back to, now I don't know how to go back. Contact manager, that's where we're at. And then, so as far as the lead gen funnel, yeah, sign calls, anything like that, they come into here. If you're not using this software as your CRM, like you like Buffini software, which I'm going to show you next, or BoldTrail, KV Core, then you still probably want to check this out, because you might be getting leads generated in here automatically. At Equity, we don't ever steal your leads. Like, it's something we felt very strongly about since day one. Agents will say, hey, do you provide leads? Well, the only way to provide leads, nobody calls up the brokerage and says, hey, I'm looking for an agent. Never, ever happens. What people do is they get online, they look at homes, they click on a home that they want to see, and it routes them to an agent. So the way that those companies are getting leads that they distribute is they've got their websites, and people that click on those come to the company. The company then either has you doing floor time or something like that, or they sell the leads back to you, and then they make a little bit of extra money on the leads that they give you. And we felt very strongly since the beginning that the person that earned the money should get the money. If you earned the lead, you should get the lead. If somebody's clicking on your listing, that listing should go to you, right? So if anybody's out there clicking on your listing or calling on it, again, Pro Agent Websites we provide to everybody. So if they're clicking on it, you might have people in here, whether you're using the software or not, you might have people in here, and you might want to make it a weekly task or a daily thing to just jump in and check. Did anybody click on or call my yard sign, to get that free information hotline? If they did, they would be dropped into here, and then you can follow up with them, right? So if you're not using this, you still may want to check it, because it's an automated thing, especially if you're using that phone number that's generic on all our standard signs. If you've gotten your own custom sign and just put your cell number, of course, then you don't have people being routed to this, but otherwise you would, and they could be in here and you not be aware. So again, great little software, pretty simple. It doesn't look real flashy. You compare it with this and there's no comparison at all. It has a lot of the tools and features that you need, and it's very simple to use. Now, again, here at Equity, we're big fans of Buffini. Our CEO is probably on a personal relationship with them. We've had some of the highest Buffini people come and do trainings for us. And most of the brokers are certified Buffini mentors. And so one of the things that I love about Buffini is the CRM side, the relationship building side, he does probably better than anyone. For example, and again, I haven't used this software for years either, But for example, for today's activities, helping me focus, saying, hey, this person needs a call. Like this is an A-ranked client that hasn't been called for a long time. We need to talk to them. We need to call them. We need to visit them. We need to do a pop by. And so this person needs attention. So it does a really good job of helping me remember people, of helping catch them so that they don't fall through the cracks, helps me stay focused when I contract. Like, can I go to my transactions? Is there any way to apply a task plan? And they said no. And I said, is there any way to build that? And they said, it's not really important to us. Right? Now that was, again, a couple of years ago. So if anybody's using this and they see something different, but to me, that was important enough that I didn't stay with the software. Again, I keep a subscription of it. I can demo it to you guys, but man, what they do really well, this relationship stuff, they do so well with helping you focus with this real simple dashboard. But the fact that they don't have task plans that are consistent. Now, again, if you, well, I'll just show you this. So this is my Notion account. This is something that I provide to agents in my training program because I don't know what software you're using. This is the full version of the training program. I don't know what software you might be using or is important to you. And some of them don't have these features. And so I built it in to this. There's a bunch of resources here, but I've got the task plans down here. So for example, if I've got a buyer that's brand new, there's not a ton of stuff that I need to do. There's a few things. So I've got send a welcome email. I've got the email template right here. I just copy and paste it and I can send it. Home buyer guide, click on this, and I've got the link to the home buyer guide. Now I want to send an introduction to my lender email. So I've got all of this built in here. Again, when they go under contract as a buyer, I've got the task plan of everything from under contract. I put in the dates. So again, if you love Buffini, there are ways to work around that it's missing a task plan to be able to provide that consistency. And this is something that I do use because I like being able to see everything right here at a glance. I like having all the notes. I like to know the dates that things were done. I like to be able to, make comments or notes on things on the site if they were done. And each one of these things, like ensure all forms are signed, I've got a summary of everything that I need signed, right? So this is kind of a workaround. If you love Buffini, but you don't have task plans, then you can use something like this. And you just come in here and you duplicate it right there and name it after your client. And then each client has their own custom task plan where you can make sure that you're providing that level of service for them. So back to this, as far as the CYA goes, again, if I clicked on this person, I can record, or building the relationship. I've got their occupation, business. I've got all of their contact information, birthday, kids' names, all of that stuff. So it's great for building that relationship. I can have a link to spouse associated with it, and I can keep a record of general notes or conversations that we have had. So a little bit of the CYA stuff, and I do like that I can rank it here as well. And then as far as the focus goes, we've already talked about that. It's got a great dashboard that helps me stay really focused right here. Now the last one, and this is one where I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone a little bit, because this puts me a little bit personally on the line, but this is one that I'm developing because, again, all of these things have some things that I like, some things that I use. What I wanted to do is develop one that was custom for my full version of the training program. So that, for example, I do train on those task plans, something that I could build the task plans into this so that you didn't have to do all of that work yourself. Because even if they do have a task plan program, you have to go in and program it, right? You have to go in and, like for example, this one right here, I can go in with the task list, I can put those things in, I can build out activity plans, but I have to build those. So what I wanted to do is, again, for agents that take my training program, I wanted to make it simple. And this doesn't have everything yet. It's brand new. It's still in the works, right? We're still working out some kinks with it. But I wanted to show you this as well. And if anybody wanted to try it out, they could go to equityquest.ai. In fact, I go there, it might show the login screen. I have to sign out for that. So the login screen. See if I click don't have an account, sign up now. I may have just screwed it all up. Hold on, let me try it again. Trying to get to what you might see. If you see don't have an account, sign up now. And oh. Maybe it'll what I wanted to show you isn't working because I already have an account. But basically, if you went to equityquest.ai and you clicked at the very bottom like a promo code, it actually tells you the promo code so that there's no charge for it if you wanted to check it out. If anybody is curious or wants to help me with feedback, this is what I'm working on developing, because I want to customize it and make things easy for people that are participating in the training program. So one of the first things that we've got here, again, we'll go through in order, the relationships, right? So I can go here to the CRM aspect of it. I can click on the person, and I can put in all of their information right here. Again, we've tried to make one of the most important things to me as I'm developing this is to keep it simple so that it's easy to use. I can progress my client through the different stages from sphere of influence to close. That's very much similar to what KV Core does. As far as the task plans go, again, I can apply a plan right here. And this is something that I have yet to build out. So I can build out all the plans, and then I can just apply it right there very easily when I'm on this client. Lead gen funnel, we don't have anything set up for that. So as far as if somebody clicks a website, is it linked to the MLS or anything? It's not linked to that yet. That's something that we're still working on. I had a chat comment. Okay. As far as the CYA goes, again, I can record a call, an email, log text, so I can record all of my interactions with this person. And then as far as focus goes, this is what I love most about this. Because again, for me, one of the most important things in coaching agents or helping agents be successful is helping them focus on what's important. So this is what we built in for this. First of all, what is my focus right now? I might have different things. I've got eight different things in here. So maybe my focus is I'm established as an agent and I need to be focusing on networking, right? So I click this one. If it's follow up and lead nurturing, if it's, I'm brand new and I need to work on my listing and buyer presentations, okay? Maybe I have a lot of stuff going on and showing a lot of properties and reviews this way. Maybe it's admin. I'm feeling super disorganized today. I want to focus on this. And each day I can maybe have a different focus, okay? Maybe I need some personal growth that I want to focus on today. I want to focus on my relationship or whatever, or just rest and recharge. So each one that I focus on, if I focus on this, then it pulls up the activities that I need to do. My target, if contacts made, is 25, and I can edit this right here, up and down. But I get to record this little right here as I do it, as I make the contacts. This helps me stay focused. Say, yep, I'm contacting people. I'm doing my social touches, and then I'm getting a grade for myself, right? I get a performance grade down here, and today's schedule, I can add tasks, again, part of keeping me focused. Let's say that my goal today is to focus on presentations. Notice that my activities all changed. I want to prepare a couple presentations, and I want to set appointments. And again, I can edit how many appointments I want to set. If my goal is to rest and recharge, break time, physical activity, and again, I can, for admin, CRM maintenance, calendar and task review, email and message management systems, document organization. So I can use this to kind of have some focus towards my day on what is most important to me. So if I'm focusing on relationship and sphere management, I'm tracking my SOI check-ins, my social media engagement, my personal touches, referrals tracked. And at the end of the day, I can come in here and I can do a daily check-in where I come in here and the AI assistant analyzes what I did. And obviously I haven't done anything with it today, so I'm going to get a bad grade. But at the end of, so at the start of the day, I have focus. At the end of the day, I check in. It analyzes all the work that I did today, and it helps me with a performance summary, right? Today was a slow start with no completed tasks or interactions. Well, it's understandable to have off days. It's crucial to build momentum to your goal of 100,000. So here's your metrics analysis. This is everything that you did. You didn't engage in any activities. You didn't complete your tasks. Here's some things that you can do to do a little bit better. And I really like this aspect of it. So it gives me analysis at the end of the day, which is something that I train on in all my trainings, is that we need to take time at the start of each day to plan, take time at the end of each day to review how you did. This kind of does it for you, and it gives you a little bit of a motivation at the end of each day, right? So I like the daily check-in aspect of it. Now, which software you use, again, that's completely up to you. If any of you wanted to test this out, again, it's completely free. When you first start up with it, it has you enter in your why, so that you've got your reasons for it. It has you enter in all of your goals, so it's custom made for you in that regard. And then one of the fun things that you can toggle on or off is this leaderboard, where you can come in here and say, how am I doing compared to my friends? Now, again, if you don't want to be seen, you don't have to be. But some people are competitive. That drives them a little bit. You can kind of see a leaderboard of how am I doing compared to other people, and you can toggle that on or off up at the top. So here's the bottom line. This is a tool, unless you are some sort of a savant, this is a tool that you need to be using. And when I say a savant, you know, I think of like Rain Man, where he remembers everybody's birthday or something like that. We're not like that. If I want to build a relationship with several hundred people, and I want to contact them on their birthdays, and I want to remember I'll have real estate agents call me and say, hey, remember that deal we talked about last week? Or the ones that really make me chuckle is, remember we talked about this 3 months ago? I honestly don't remember yesterday. Like, I could show you my phone log and the emails. It's hundreds and hundreds of contacts every day. So when somebody calls and says, do you remember this? I don't. I have to use these tools or I am completely ineffective, right? So if you're trying to build a relationship with several hundred people, maybe you find yourself that same way. And you call them up and you're like, well, what am I going to talk about? It's one of the number one reasons we don't follow up with our past clients. What am I going to talk about? I don't have anything to say. What did you talk about last time? I'm going to Hawaii next week. I won't be here for training. That's a reminder. I need to send an email to corporate to change that. I'm going to Hawaii. Maybe some of you, like if this were a client, you would write it down and say, and then you would text me the following week and say, hey, how was Hawaii? And guess what? Our relationship just got a little bit better because you paid attention to something that I said. It was personal, had nothing to do with work, didn't benefit you in any way. I'm like, oh, that person cared, right? Doesn't that matter? It's as simple as when you go into a group of people, and I'm terrible at this, I'll admit it, and you ask them their names. How many of you have forgotten their name literally before you finished introducing yourself, right? Hey, Brian, it's nice to meet you. Tell me what you do in your job. And Brian says, well, I'm a real estate agent. I'm all right. I've already forgotten. Crap, what was his name? It's terrible, right? But if somebody remembers your name, like I went to Disneyland of all places, took my family to Disneyland, and this girl that works at Disneyland comes up to us, hey, how are you guys doing? Are you having a good time? What's your names? And I'm thinking, why would you want to know my name? And I actually said it, why would you ask for our names? And she says, I'll remember you. I said, bull crap. And she says, no, I remember everybody's name that comes to the park. And she did. Like, she had this eidetic memory. She remembered it. We ran into her later in the day. Hey, Eric. Hey, Joanna. How are the kids doing? She remembers everybody's name. It was insane. It was phenomenal. And man, did it make you feel kind of special. So unless you're her and have that gift, you need to cheat and use a tool, right? Because if you call me up and the only conversation we ever have is, hey, who do you know that wants to buy or sell real estate? Our relationship is plummeting every time until the point that I block contact with you. But if you contact me and say, hey, saw it was your birthday today, and depending on your relationship, there were some birthdays this morning. I check every single morning if there's I miss weekends. If your birthday fell on a weekend and you thought, well, I didn't hear from Eric, sometimes I do miss weekends. But otherwise, I'm sending out birthday messages early in the morning. If it's people I don't know very well, sometimes it's just a Facebook one, or I say happy birthday on Facebook. If it's people I do know very well, then I'll personally text them. If it's people that I'm a close friend with, I'll call them up. I'll maybe even sing happy birthday to them. And I have a repertoire of birthday songs based on either different countries, something I learned in primary, or a foreign language, right? Or what I learned in a restaurant. They all have different birthday songs. And that's fun, right? I'm building relationships with people. But if they're my ambassadors, it's a personal phone call for sure, right? That's because I cheated and used a system that told me their birthdays. Otherwise, I wouldn't remember my own birthday. There's half the holidays where I'm working past noon. It's 1 o'clock. I'm calling people and they're like, why are you working on a holiday? And I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize it was a holiday. Kind of the nature of our job. We just work. So I have to use the tools to stay on top of these things. I have to use the tools to be organized. So again, my goal for you guys is I don't care which software you use. You can test drive ours, which we know has a couple of glitches, but there's some aspects of it that I absolutely love. It's the reason why we're putting so much effort into building it out. It's not easy to build these things out. But we're putting that effort into it because there's features in there as far as getting people to focus and on the things that matter. Getting people to focus on those things is so vital, and it's so lacking with some other software programs. You know, the focus on the relationships that Buffini does so incredibly well, yet completely drops the ball with task plans. And I've emailed tech support. I'm like, hey, we're a huge client of yours. You know, we have tons of people that do your programs every year. And they say, no, thanks, it's not important to us. Whereas having control over something where somebody can give us feedback and say, this is really important to us, can you build this in? And knowing that by the end of the day, we can have those adjustments made and figure out the glitches and build. Anyways, that's why we're putting in the effort, because this type of thing is so important to us. So again, whether you're using BoldTrails, whether you're using, what was the other ones that we did? The Pro Agent websites, whether you're a big fan of Buffini, whether you want to try this new one, this Equity AI, what was it called? Equity Quest AI, right? Whether you want to try that out, get a free code and say, hey, I'm willing to be a guinea pig. Whatever it is, I want you to use it, right? It's only a good tool if you're using it daily. BoldTrails is a fantastic product. Buffini's is a fantastic product. Top Producer is a fantastic product. Realty Juggler, fantastic product. If you're using them. If you're not using them, they're garbage, right? They're not helping you build your business. You're not in there. You're not recording your conversations. You're not staying focused. You're not protecting yourself, and you're not building ambassadors if you don't have these tools. There are a lot of agents that I've ran into 20, 30 years into their career. In fact, one I did some personal coaching with. He was part of a group that we did this with. He'd been a broker for longer than I think he'd been a broker like 30 years. And he's like, I don't have a database. And it blew me away that he didn't have a database. I said, dude, we've got to get your database. Next week we come into the meeting, he shows me his office, and he has his entire wall lined with boxes. He says, there's my database. That's all my clients over the years. And his challenge over the course of that coaching was to get those people's contact information, put them in software so that he could follow up with them, which he admitted he hadn't done very well in his very first month. He got 2 transactions from doing that. Okay, this is important stuff. It's what the people are clamoring for. We want to work with somebody that we know and trust. So I encourage you guys to use this software, and whichever one you choose, to build that relationship. And that is your goal this week. So your goal is, number one, make sure you've got a software Number two, make sure that you are utilizing that software every single day. And again, I would say start the day out with a plan. At the end of the day, go in, because we're never sitting in front of our computers all day long, right? So at the end of the day, I want to go into the software and record all of my conversations. So if I made notes on my phone, or I scribbled it down on the edge of a paper somewhere because I talked to somebody, I need to do a follow-up. All of that stuff at the end of the day, I need to be back in front of my software, doing that accountability, putting all of the information in, so that I am an effective business person, because our business is people. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you online next week. I hope this was valuable for you, to see some of the different softwares, to see the importance that I place on different aspects of them. And I appreciate each of you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be a part of it. Thank you.